Alright, in this video we are going to set up our database for the gaming place. It's going to hold 4 different tables. We're going to have products, categories, orders, and users. Alright, so I already created a database called Gaming Place, so I'm going to click on that. Alright, so let's first create products, and this is going to have 6 fields. Okay, so we want the product ID, which is going to be an integer. We'll say 11, and then we want to set it to auto increment and primary key. Next we'll have the category ID, which is going to be the foreign key for the categories table. Next we'll have the product title, and that's going to be a varchar, and we'll give it 255. Next is the description. I'm going to set that to the text field. Alright, next will be image, which will hold an image path and image name, which will be varchar, and we'll say 100. And then finally the price, which is going to be a decimal, and for length we want to show 2 decimal points, so we're going to say 10,2. Alright, so that should be good for products. Let's click on save. Valid length. Oh, this should be blank. This should be 100. Okay, next will be categories. And let me see, categories is going to have just 2 columns. Okay, so it's going to have an ID and a name. ID, we'll say 11, and this is going to be auto increment, primary key. The name is going to be varchar, and we'll say 100. Okay, so next we'll have orders. And orders is going to hold the products that were purchased. Okay, so this is going to have, let me see, this is going to have actually 11 fields. Okay, of course we're going to have an ID for a primary key. And next we'll have the actual product ID. Next we'll have the user ID that made the purchase, and a transaction ID, which in this case would be a PayPal transaction. That's going to be varchar, and we'll just do 255. Next is the quantity. Integer is good. Price will be decimal, and we want to put in here 10,2. After price is going to be the location info, so address 2, city, state, and zip code. Okay, change these types to varchar. Okay, and address, let me just put 255. City can be 100. State 100. Zip code 30. Alright, so that's good. Save. One more table to create, and that is the users table, which will have 7 fields. Okay, so we want an ID, primary key, auto increment. Next will be first name, last name, email, username, password, and join date. Okay, varchar for most of these. Join date can be a timestamp, and I'm going to set the default to current timestamp. And then for these, let's just do 100. Alright. So there's our database. Now you want to make sure that you have the correct credentials inside of your config folder. Okay, so inside the application folder and then the config folder and then database, you want to make sure that you have your username, your password, and your database name. Okay, so you need to make sure that those match your database in order for it to work with it. Now what I want to do before we start programming is I want to insert some sample data into our database for when we want to actually display it in our application. So first thing, I'm going to add some categories. Okay, so if we click on categories and then go to insert, I'm going to add 5 more rows. Okay, so for categories, basically they're going to be the different consoles available. So Xbox One games, okay, PS4 games, Nintendo Wii U games. Actually, we'll just do Nintendo Wii games. Okay, next is Xbox 360, then PS3, and that's good. Alright, so you want to make sure this ignore is unchecked as well. And then click on go. So now we have some categories. Now let's add some products. Actually, you know what? Let's add a user first. We want to go to insert and create a user. Username, I'm just gonna say Brad. And of course, ultimately, we're not going to store plain text passwords. They're going to be encrypted, but this is just to use now. Okay, so there's one user. Now we want to add a product. Insert. We'll add a few. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just copy and paste some products. So Destiny, which is, I believe it's an Xbox One game. So Xbox One was category 1, so we'll put a 1 there. Image, let's see. Image is going to be game1.jpg, and then price will be $59.99. Okay, next one is also an Xbox One game, so it's going to have the category ID 1. And let me just paste this in. Call of Duty Ghosts. Obviously, this information doesn't really need to be accurate. It's just for example. And what I did was just Googled some games and copied the description. So this will be game2.jpg. And then the price is also $59.99. Let's add those. And I actually want to add a couple more. Okay, next is Watch Dogs, and that's going to be PS3, I believe, which is what? Category 5. Description. Game 3. price is going to be $49.99. Okay, next is Sniper Elite. That's category 1. Paste in a description. Game 4.jpg, and then price for this $49.99. Alright, so we'll add those. Okay, so now we have a few products. I'm actually going to add 2 more, just to make it look like our HTML template. Okay, Batman, and this is going to be PS4, so that's category 2. Description. Image will be game5.jpg. Price $59.99. And then one more, which will be Shadow of Mador. This will also be a category 2 game, PS4. Price, say $49.99. Alright, so there's our 6 products. I'm not going to add anything to the orders table. Alright, that'll be handled later on. So now that we have a database ready, we can start to program our application.